Think you know everything about ancient Egypt? Think again. Beyond the iconic pyramids and golden treasures lies a world of mysteries that continues to perplex even the brightest minds. But before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe to help us grow our channel. Take the legendary Labyrinth, for instance, a massive complex said to contain 3,000 rooms that simply vanished. Or Queen Nefertiti, one of history's most powerful women who disappeared without a trace, leaving us with nothing but her famous bust and countless questions. And let's not forget young King Tut. Sure, we found his tomb, but his sudden death at 19 remains a puzzle. Was it murder, an accident, or something more sinister? Then there's the infamous Curse of the Pharaohs. Coincidence or ancient magic? These aren't just stories. They're reminders that perhaps the most fascinating chapters of Egypt's history are the ones we've yet to fully understand. Picture this. You're standing in the scorching Egyptian desert, face to face with one of humanity's most enigmatic creations, the Great Sphinx of Giza. But before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe to help us grow our channel. This magnificent creature, with its human head and the body of a lion, has been silently watching over the pyramids for thousands of years, keeping its secrets locked away in stone. But just how old is this mysterious guardian? Well, that's where things get interesting. The traditional view, taught in history books, tells us the Sphinx was built around 2500 BCE by the pharaoh Khafre. But hold on. Some researchers have a wildly different theory that might just change everything we thought we knew about ancient civilization. Take a look at the Sphinx's body. Notice those peculiar erosion patterns. Some geologists argue these weren't caused by wind and sand, but by heavy rainfall and running water. Here's the twist. The last time Egypt experienced that kind of rainfall was between 7,000 and 10,000 years ago. If true, this would make the Sphinx thousands of years older than we thought, predating ancient Egyptian civilization itself. But that's not the only mystery surrounding this ancient marvel. Why was it built in the first place? Some say it was a guardian, protecting the pyramids and the ancient necropolis of Giza. Others believe it was a symbol of royal power, with the face possibly representing Pharaoh Khafre himself. And then there are those who suggest it served as an astronomical marker, aligned with certain celestial events. The plot thickens when you consider its unique design. Why a human head on a lion's body? In Egyptian mythology, the lion was a symbol of power and protection, while the human head might represent divine wisdom. But could there be more to this story? Recent archaeological discoveries continue to raise new questions. Underground chambers and tunnels have been detected beneath the Sphinx, leading some to speculate about hidden chambers containing ancient knowledge or artifacts. Though many of these theories remain unproven, they add another layer of intrigue to this already fascinating monument. Perhaps the most compelling aspect of the Sphinx is how it challenges our understanding of human civilization. If it is indeed older than we think, what does that say about our ancestors' capabilities? What advanced knowledge might they have possessed that we're only beginning to rediscover? As we stand here in the 21st century, looking up at this weathered face, we're left with more questions than answers. Maybe that's exactly what makes the Sphinx so captivating. It remains one of the world's greatest mysteries, inviting us to question, wonder, and imagine the incredible possibilities of our ancient past. Have you ever stood at the foot of the Great Pyramids and wondered, how on earth did they build these? You're not alone. For centuries, these magnificent structures have captivated minds and sparked endless debates among historians, engineers, and researchers worldwide. But before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe to help us grow our channel. Picture this, over 4,500 years ago, without modern machinery, computers, or even basic tools like steel and pulleys, ancient Egyptians managed to build structures so precise that even today's architects are left scratching their heads. The Great Pyramid of Giza alone contains roughly 2.3 million stone blocks, each weighing between 2.5 to 15 tons. That's like stacking 200 elephants on top of each other, but with perfect precision. The most fascinating part, we're still not entirely sure how they did it. Some theories suggest they used ramps, massive spiral pathways that wound around the pyramid as it grew taller. Others believe they used a combination of internal ramps and levers, moving blocks through the pyramid's interior as they built upward. But here's what really blows minds: the precision. The base of the Great Pyramid is leveled to within just 2 centimeters. That's less than the width of your thumb. And this was achieved over a surface area of more than 13 acres. Try laying a perfectly flat floor in your house, and you'll appreciate just how incredible this is. Then there's the question of labor. While popular culture often depicts slaves building the pyramids, archaeological evidence suggests otherwise. The builders were likely skilled workers who lived in nearby purpose-built villages, complete with healthcare and organized food supply. Think of it as an ancient construction company, but with benefits. Perhaps most intriguing are the mysteries we still can't explain. How did they cut and transport limestone blocks from quarries hundreds of miles away? How did they achieve such perfect alignment with the cardinal points without modern surveying equipment? And how did they create internal chambers strong enough to withstand the weight of millions of tons of stone for thousands of years? These questions remind us that sometimes the most remarkable achievements in human history aren't just about what we know, but what we're still trying to understand. The pyramids stand not just as monuments to ancient Egyptian civilization, but as testament to human ingenuity and our capacity to achieve what seems impossible. Next time you see a picture of the pyramids, remember, you're looking at one of humanity's greatest puzzles, one that continues to challenge our understanding of what our ancestors were capable of. And maybe, just maybe, that's exactly what makes them so magnificent. Picture this: ancient Egypt, over 3,000 years ago. The mighty Pharaoh Ramesses III sits upon his throne, ruling over one of history's most powerful kingdoms. But within the gilded walls of his own palace, deadly shadows lurk, and a conspiracy is brewing that would shake the very foundations of Egyptian power. But before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe to help us grow our channel. This isn't just another tale of ancient Egypt's grandeur. This is a story of betrayal, ambition, and murder that reads more like a modern political thriller than ancient history. The year is around 1155 BCE, and in the sacred halls of the pharaoh's harem, a plot is taking shape. Now you might think of a harem as just a place of luxury and pleasure, but in ancient Egypt it was also a hotbed of political intrigue. These weren't just concubines. They were educated, influential women who understood the complex web of royal politics. And among them was one particularly ambitious figure, Tiye, one of Ramesses III's secondary wives. Tiye had a son, and like any mother, she wanted the best for him. But in this case, the best meant the throne of Egypt itself. Never mind that there was already a chosen heir. Tiye was determined to see her son wear the double crown of Upper and Lower Egypt. What followed was an elaborate conspiracy that reached far beyond the harem walls. Court officials were bribed, magic wax figures were created to curse the pharaoh, and secret messages were passed through the palace corridors. The conspirators even managed to recruit members of the military and the royal guard, the very people meant to protect the pharaoh. But here's where it gets really interesting. Ancient court documents tell us the plot was discovered, leading to one of ancient Egypt's most sensational trials. Over 40 conspirators were caught and brought to justice. Some were forced to take their own lives, while others faced execution. Even high-ranking officials and nobles weren't spared. But here's the twist that archaeologists discovered only recently. Despite the plot being uncovered, it seems the conspirators might have partially succeeded. Modern CT scans of Ramesses III's mummy revealed a severe throat wound, one that would have been instantly fatal. This suggests that while the broader conspiracy was foiled, someone actually managed to get close enough to the pharaoh to kill him. This raises so many questions. Was the plot really discovered before or after the pharaoh's death? Who actually managed to deliver the fatal blow? And what happened in those crucial moments when one of Egypt's most powerful rulers met his end? Even more intriguing is what this tells us about ancient Egyptian power structures. Behind the massive monuments and grand ceremonies, there was a dark underbelly of politics, ambition, and family rivalry that wouldn't look out of place in modern political dramas. The story of Ramesses III's assassination reminds us that beneath the golden masks and royal propaganda, ancient Egyptians dealt with many of the same human struggles we face today: power, jealousy, ambition, and the lengths people will go to achieve their goals. It's a sobering reminder that no matter how mighty a ruler might be, sometimes the greatest threats come from those closest to them. Picture this. Deep within the ancient temple of Hathor in Dendera, Egypt, lies one of archaeology's most intriguing mysteries. Carved into the temple walls is an image that has sparked fierce debate and challenged our understanding of ancient technology for decades. But before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe to help us grow our channel. What makes this relief so controversial? Well, it appears to show something that shouldn't exist in ancient times, what looks remarkably like a modern light bulb. Now I know what you're thinking. Ancient Egyptians with electricity? It sounds like something straight out of a science fiction movie. But let's explore this fascinating puzzle together. The carving shows a large bulb-shaped object with what appears to be a snake or serpent-like figure coiled inside. It's connected to what looks like a pillar or base, and the whole setup bears an uncanny resemblance to something we're all familiar with. An electrical lighting system, specifically something called a Crookes tube, which was an early predecessor to our modern light bulbs. This discovery has divided the archaeological community. On one side, we have researchers who point to the striking similarities between this ancient carving and modern electrical equipment. They argue that perhaps our ancestors were more technologically advanced than we give them credit for. Could they have discovered principles of electricity thousands of years before Thomas Edison? But here's where it gets interesting. Traditional archaeologists have a different explanation. They've found residue in the temple that suggests the Egyptians used oil lamps for lighting. They argue that what we're seeing might be a symbolic representation of something entirely different, perhaps related to Egyptian mythology or religious practices. Think about it. We often assume ancient civilizations were primitive compared to us. But the Egyptians built the pyramids with incredible precision, developed sophisticated irrigation systems, and created astronomical calendars. They were innovative problem solvers who constantly pushed the boundaries of what was possible in their time. The debate continues to this day, and it's this mystery that makes the Dendera light such a fascinating archaeological puzzle. Was it truly an ancient electrical device, a religious symbol, or something else entirely that we haven't yet figured out? What's particularly compelling is how this discovery challenges our assumptions about ancient technological capabilities. Even if it wasn't actually an electrical device, the fact that they created something so similar in appearance to modern technology forces us to question what other advanced knowledge these ancient civilizations might have possessed. As we stand in the Temple of Hathor today, looking up at this mysterious carving, we're reminded that history isn't always as straightforward as we think. Sometimes the most intriguing discoveries are the ones that make us question everything we thought we knew about the past. Picture this. Cairo, 1922. The air is thick with anticipation as archaeologist Howard Carter and his team make the discovery of a lifetime, the tomb of King Tutankhamun. Little did they know, this moment would spark one of history's most enduring mysteries, the infamous curse of the Pharaohs. But before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe to help us grow our channel. You see, the ancient Egyptians took their afterlife seriously, very seriously. They believed that disturbing a pharaoh's eternal rest would unleash supernatural vengeance upon the intruders. And what happened next? Well, that's where our story gets interesting. Just months after the tomb's opening, Lord Carnarvon, Carter's financial backer, died from an infected mosquito bite. Strangely, at the exact moment of his death, the lights in Cairo mysteriously went out. And his beloved pet dog back in England? It howled and died at the same instant. But that was just the beginning. Over the next decade, more than a dozen people connected to the excavation met untimely ends. George J. Gould, a tomb visitor, died of fever. Prince Ali Kamel Fahmy Bey was shot dead by his wife. Radiologist Sir Archibald Douglas Reed, who x-rayed the mummy, passed away mysteriously. Now, skeptics will tell you it was all coincidence. They'll point to the dangerous pathogens that could have survived in the tomb's sealed environment for thousands of years. Some suggest that toxic molds or bacteria might have been the real killers. Logical explanations, right? But here's something to consider. Ancient Egyptian priests were master chemists. They developed sophisticated embalming techniques and understood complex poisons. Could they have engineered a more tangible form of curse? Something that would literally kill tomb raiders? Howard Carter himself, though, seemed immune to this supposed curse. He lived for another 17 years after opening the tomb, dying at the age of 64. Was he protected somehow, or was he just lucky? The most fascinating part? The Egyptians might have achieved exactly what they wanted. Whether real or not, the curse served its purpose. It made people think twice about disturbing ancient tombs. Even today, the mere mention of a mummy's curse sends shivers down people's spines. Picture this. In the golden sands of ancient Egypt, a young pharaoh's life was cut tragically short, leaving behind one of history's greatest mysteries. King Tutankhamun, the boy king who ascended to the throne at just 9 years old, died unexpectedly at 19, taking the secret of his death to his tomb. But before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe to help us grow our channel. For over 3,000 years, his body lay undisturbed in the Valley of the Kings until that fateful day in 1922, when archaeologist Howard Carter made the discovery of a century. As he peered through a small hole into the tomb, the flickering candlelight revealed gleaming treasures that would captivate the world. But among all the gold and precious artifacts, the most intriguing mystery was the mummy of the young king himself. What could have caused the death of someone so young, so powerful? The answers, or rather the clues, lie within his bones. Modern scientific analysis of Tutankhamun's skeleton reveals a haunting story. A fractured skull, discovered during X-ray examinations, initially led some experts to suspect murder. Was there a power struggle? Did someone want the young pharaoh out of the way? But the plot thickens. A broken knee, possibly from a severe accident, adds another layer to this ancient puzzle. Some researchers suggest a chariot accident. Imagine a young king, perhaps too confident in his skills, taking his chariot for a ride through the desert. One wrong move, one moment of misfortune, and history would be forever changed. Yet there's more to this story than just physical injuries. The young pharaoh was born into a royal family where inbreeding was common practice, meant to keep bloodlines pure, but leading to devastating genetic consequences. DNA studies reveal that Tutankhamun's parents were likely siblings, leaving him with genetic disorders that may have weakened his body from birth. As if that weren't enough, evidence suggests he suffered from malaria, a deadly disease that still plagues parts of Africa today. Picture a young ruler already dealing with genetic health issues, then struck by this debilitating illness. Was it this combination of factors that ultimately led to his demise? More than 3,000 years later, we're still piecing together this puzzle. Was it murder, an accident, disease, or perhaps a perfect storm of all these factors? The death of King Tutankhamun remains one of ancient Egypt's most captivating mysteries, reminding us that even with all our modern technology and scientific advances, some secrets of the past refuse to be fully revealed. The boy king's untimely death transformed him from a relatively minor pharaoh into one of history's most famous rulers, proving that sometimes it's not how you lived, but the mystery of how you died that captures the imagination of generations to come. Picture this: ancient Egypt, a time of pharaohs, pyramids, and mysteries that still captivate us today. But there's one mystery that stands above the rest: the disappearance of Queen Nefertiti, perhaps the most beautiful and powerful woman to ever rule alongside the pharaohs. But before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe to help us grow our channel. You've probably seen her before, that iconic limestone bust with the elegant neck, high cheekbones, and that distinctive tall crown. It's an image that has enchanted the world for centuries, making Nefertiti a symbol of feminine beauty and power. But here's where things get interesting. While we know so much about her life, her death remains one of Egypt's greatest unsolved mysteries. During the 18th dynasty, around 1353 BCE, Nefertiti ruled alongside her husband, Pharaoh Akhenaten. They weren't your typical royal couple. They revolutionized Egyptian religion, championing the worship of a single god, the sun disk Aten. Nefertiti wasn't content to just be a queen. She was a true co-ruler, depicted in scenes traditionally reserved for pharaohs, even shown smiting Egypt's enemies. But then suddenly she vanishes from the historical record. No death certificate, no grand funeral procession documented on temple walls, no known tomb, just nothing. It's like she walked off the pages of history. This disappearance has driven archaeologists mad for decades. Where did Egypt's most famous queen go? Some theories suggest she might have fallen from grace. Others propose she may have ruled as a pharaoh herself under a different name. But perhaps the most intriguing theory is that she might be hiding in plain sight, in King Tutankhamun's tomb. Yes, that's right, King Tut, her stepson. In recent years, archaeologists have used cutting-edge technology, radar scans, thermal imaging, you name it, to search for hidden chambers in Tut's tomb. They're looking for any sign of Nefertiti's final resting place. There were moments of excitement when scans suggested the possibility of hidden rooms, but so far, each lead has ended in disappointment. The truth is, we might never find Nefertiti's tomb. Perhaps it was destroyed over the millennia, or maybe it's still out there, buried deep beneath the Egyptian sands. But in a way, isn't this mystery part of what makes her story so fascinating? This powerful queen, whose beauty was immortalized in stone, somehow managed to slip away from us, leaving behind one of history's greatest unsolved puzzles. So next time you see that famous bust of Nefertiti, remember, you're not just looking at a face from history. You're looking at the center of one of archaeology's most enduring mysteries, a queen whose final chapter remains unwritten, waiting somewhere in the sands of Egypt for someone to finally uncover the truth. Picture this: In the heart of ancient Egypt, beneath layers of sand and centuries of history, lies one of archaeology's greatest mysteries, a structure so magnificent that even the Great Pyramids stood in its shadow. This isn't just another ancient building, this is the legendary Lost Labyrinth of Egypt. But before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe to help us grow our channel. When the Greek historian Herodotus first laid eyes on this architectural marvel in the 5th century BC, he was absolutely speechless. Even the pyramids, he wrote, are surpassed by this. Just let that sink in for a moment. A building more impressive than the pyramids. It seems almost impossible, doesn't it? But what made this labyrinth so extraordinary? Imagine walking through a complex spanning 2 massive levels, with 3,000 rooms connected by an endless maze of corridors. The upper level, open to visitors, was said to contain halls filled with intricate hieroglyphics, stunning statues, and architectural features that left ancient tourists in awe. But it's what lay beneath that really captures the imagination. The underground level was strictly forbidden to ordinary people. This mysterious subterranean realm served as the eternal resting place for Egyptian pharaohs and sacred crocodiles, the sacred animals of the god Sobek. Think about it, an entire underground city of the dead, filled with priceless treasures and untold secrets. For centuries, this magnificent structure was lost to time, leading many to question whether it ever existed at all. But in 2008, something extraordinary happened. Using advanced geo-radar technology, researchers discovered a massive stone plateau buried beneath the ground at Hawara in the Fayum region of Egypt. The size and location matched ancient descriptions of the labyrinth perfectly. Yet here's where our story takes an intriguing turn. Despite this groundbreaking discovery, no full excavation has ever taken place. The labyrinth remains buried, its secrets still locked away beneath the Egyptian sands. What treasures might lie waiting in those underground chambers? What stories could those ancient walls tell us about one of the greatest civilizations in human history? Today, this colossal structure continues to captivate archaeologists and history enthusiasts alike. It stands as a testament to the incredible achievements of ancient Egyptian engineering and architecture, while its hidden chambers hold promises of discoveries that could revolutionize our understanding of the ancient world. As we stand at the threshold of potentially uncovering this ancient wonder, one can't help but wonder, what other magnificent secrets might still lie buried beneath the sands of Egypt, waiting for their moment to be revealed to the world once again? Picture this. It's around 1200 BCE, and the mighty Egyptian empire is facing its greatest threat. Not from their usual rivals, but from a mysterious force that would keep historians puzzled for thousands of years, the enigmatic Sea Peoples. But before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe to help us grow our channel. Imagine you're an Egyptian scribe, etching hieroglyphs into stone, your hands trembling as you record waves of foreign warriors descending upon your lands. Ships appearing on the horizon, filled with warriors unlike any you've seen before. But who were these people that struck such fear into the hearts of one of history's most powerful civilizations? The Sea Peoples appear in Egyptian texts like ghostly characters in an ancient mystery novel. They're described as a confederation of naval raiders who attacked not just Egypt, but also wreaked havoc across the entire eastern Mediterranean. The fascinating thing is, despite all our modern technology and archaeological advances, we still can't definitively say who they were. Think about that for a moment. They were powerful enough to contribute to the collapse of several Bronze Age civilizations, yet we can't pin down their origin. It's like having a major character in world history wearing a permanent mask. Egyptian records, particularly from the time of Ramesses II and Ramesses III, tell us they came in waves. Not just warriors, but entire communities, men, women, and children seeking new lands to call home. They weren't just raiders, they were migrants looking for a place to settle, bringing with them their own customs, weapons, and ways of life. Some scholars suggest they might have been groups from the Aegean region, perhaps displaced by natural disasters or social upheaval. Others point to Sicily, Sardinia, or even Central Europe. It's like trying to solve a 3,000-year-old puzzle with half the pieces missing. What's particularly intriguing is how these mysterious invaders nearly succeeded in toppling the mighty Egyptian empire. The Egyptians recorded massive battles, both on land and at sea, where they barely managed to fend off these determined attackers. The relief carvings at Medinet Habu tell stories of epic naval battles, with ships clashing in desperate combat. Today, as archaeologists continue to uncover new evidence, the Sea Peoples remain one of history's most captivating mysteries. They remind us that even in our age of information, some of history's most impactful players still keep their secrets. They're a testament to how much of our past still lies hidden, waiting to be discovered. Think about it. Somewhere out there, buried under centuries of sand and soil, might lie the answer to who these people really were. Until then, they remain as they've always been. Shadows on the waves of history, their true identity lost to time. Don't forget to like and subscribe to help us grow our channel. Thank you for watching, and ring that bell to receive notification on new videos.